As you know, the UK left the EU political structures and the European Parliament on January 31st in 2020. That's when we got rid of Farage. The Brexiteers blame the government for not implementing Brexit properly, and others want the UK to join the EU again. And the EU, of course, moved forward after the UK left. So in the next weeks, I will make a test here on the channel by bringing news about the EU in my midday videos. And that will keep people informed what the UK left and what people want to return to make informed decisions and give it a more fact-based approach. And since my magazine channel is reserved for information on the development of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine for the time being, that is another reason to do this here. But I anyway believe exactly my audience on this channel needs this information. And of course, there is now a playlist EU here again. Now the Commission is proposing a Council recommendation for a critical infrastructure blueprint that will enhance the EU's coordination in response to attempts to disrupt our critical infrastructure. The geopolitical context in which critical infrastructure operates is highly volatile, and this is not only in view of Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, increased hybrids attacks and the sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipelines. Citizens, businesses and authorities in the EU rely on critical infrastructure because of the essential services that the entities operating such infrastructure provide. Such services are crucial for the maintenance of vital societal functions and must be provided in an unobstructed manner in the internal market. The EU has already taken a number of measures to enhance the protection of critical infrastructure to avoid or mitigate the effects of disruptions in the essential services. Immediately after the sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipelines, the Commission proposed a Council recommendation to accelerate the work to protect critical infrastructure, proposing to enhance coordination in the response to incidents and crises with a critical infrastructure blueprint. Moreover, the EU-NATO Task Force on Resilience of Critical Infrastructure, launched in March 23, presented on June 29th a final assessment report which maps out the current security challenges and presents targeted recommendations to strengthen critical infrastructure resilience. Last week's proposal builds on these actions and further complements existing EU-level crisis instruments. It also complements the existing blueprint in the area of cybersecurity and the EU protocol for countering hybrid threats. In order to ensure a targeted, proportionate and effective approach, the blueprint provides a roadmap with measures that can be applied when member states are faced with significant critical infrastructure incidents. The blueprint aims to achieve three main objectives in response to a significant critical infrastructure incident. And of course, I'm going to tell you about them. First, improve shared situational awareness by better understanding the significant critical infrastructure incident in the member state, its origin and its potential consequences for all key stakeholders at operational and strategic or political level. And secondly, ensure coordinated public communication to minimize discrepancies in the messages conveyed to the public after a significant critical infrastructure incident. Clear public communication is also important to tackle disinformation. And third, provide effective response by strengthening the response of member states and cooperation between member states and with relevant union institutions, bodies, offices, agencies. And that will mitigate the effects of a significant critical infrastructure incident and enable swift re-establishment of essential services. This blueprint can be applied when, firstly, the incident has a significant disruptive effect to or in 6 or more member states. Secondly, the incident has a significant disruptive effect in 2 or more member states, and timely policy coordination in the response at union level is required due to the incident's wide-ranging and significant impact of technical or political relevance. To respond to the significant critical infrastructure incident, the blueprint sets out several actions that can be taken at EU level, such as the support of the affected member states through information exchange, the organization of expert meetings, the preparations of situational awareness reports, and the coordination of public communication lines and of the response. The coordinated response may also include technical support of other member states or relevant EU institutions, bodies, and agencies, if so requested by the affected member states, and the activation of EU crisis coordination mechanisms and use of EU instruments. Points of contact for matters relating to the critical infrastructure blueprint are foreseen for all actors involved. Member states affected by the significant critical infrastructure incident will share with the rotating presidency of the Council and the Commission relevant information on the incident. The recommendation foresees that the Member States, the Council, the Commission, and, where appropriate, the EEAS and relevant EU bodies, offices, and agencies should apply the blueprint without delay whenever a significant critical infrastructure incident occurs. And this proposal will now be discussed by the Council. The EU has had a legal policy framework for the protection of critical infrastructure for almost 15 years. This has been updated with the Directive on Critical Entities Resilience, the so-called CER Directive, which entered into force in January 2023. In light of the current security context, a Council recommendation on a union-wide coordinated approach to strengthen the resilience of critical infrastructure was adopted on December 8, 2022, following a Commission proposal. In that recommendation, the Council highlighted, among others, the need to ensure at Union level a coordinated and effective response to risks to the provisions of essential services. It invited the Commission to draft a blueprint on a coordinated response to disruptions of critical infrastructure with significant cross-border relevance. On July 25, 2023, the Commission adopted a delegated regulation establishing a list of essential services in those sectors. Based on this list, Member States must carry out risk assessments and then identify their critical entities. And so this is a very important step that's taken here now, and I'm quite glad that the EU is finally proceeding with that. And in light of the global developments, it's a very important thing. And once again, the 27 working together on a very critical topic is a good thing, and I hope that the Council will follow this recommendation as they did with the former ones. And if you want to know more about the EU, about Brexit, about UK politics, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.